Okay, well, I'll give you a choice now. I got two questions and you can answer either one. The first one is, we raised taxes. I'm surprised you didn't talk about it. We raised taxes to the top 2% in 2013. Would you repeal that tax increase on folks making $400,000 or $1 million a year? And if you did, what would you cut in order to not have that $2 billion in the state budget? Or, if I happen to get reelected in 2015, what advice would you have for me? You can pick either question.
At least the sound system still works. First I'd like to point out, I have some notes here about the taxes. As I understand it, taxes went up about $2.2 billion in total. And the state budget, all funds budget, went up about $4 billion. And so there's an approaching $2 billion deficit, plus there's a bunch of spending like the expansion of Medicaid that is currently funded by the federal government, where that federal government funding is going to end, which promises yet more deficits. It seems to me that the question is not right. The way you should work this is, you need to figure out what you have to spend money on and limit your state government to those things. Then you go back and you figure out how to pay for those things. To go it the other way and say, let's see how much money we can get from the taxpayers and then spend it all and a little bit more and then come back and demand even more is the way it seems to be approached usually, and I don't accept that. If it were up to me, I would go back to that earlier premise. I would take a hard look at everything in the budget, and I don't think it's fair to say that there aren't things that could be cut. And once we have that pared down to the essential things, then I'd go back to the tax bill and say, are we taking too much? Because you got to remember, taxation is spending. Spending is taxation. Once you've spent that money, you have to tax it, either through debt, today's taxes, or tomorrow's taxes. So you have to get control of spending first and foremost, and that's the point, not the taxation.
My question was, what would you cut?
When I worked at the DNR, my little funny epithet was, I would be the first guy I would fire, because I don't think I did much very useful. I am not in a position right now to go through and say chapter and verse which things would be cut, but I think it's fair to say that there's a fair amount of fat in the budget. I know that the increase in spending since Dayton became governor has been substantial. I would probably start with many of those things that have been increased because we obviously were living without them before then. But I did not come equipped with that list.
And thank you. Do I have 30 seconds then? Am I supposed to respond? Is that how the format works? And I appreciate the response. It's important to, well, I'll leave it at that. I'll take whatever your question is next time.